What's going on? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today I'm going to be breaking down this very interesting 2025 NFL mock draft. Apparently, it includes top high school recruits. I thought when I first saw it, that sounds really interesting, so I'm going to bring it to y'all. Might as well. I'm going to be gone in New Orleans, so I wanted to get a couple more videos up before, or record a couple videos before heading out, just so you guys have content almost every single day. So let's jump right on in with this. Starting out with the #1 overall pick. Again, if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You guys know how to use YouTube. I'm not going to bore you out with an intro, even though, I mean, it is in my best interest to shout out my sponsors, but, you know, we're both on a time crunch here. The Panthers go James Pierce. I think Panthers do need to go after a true edge one. James Pierce, it's going to be a bigger stretch for me to see him being an edge one, but at the moment, I think he's a solid fringe contributor before he becomes actually a full-time starter. He does spin moves into the chest of offensive tackles. There's a lot of refinement that needs to happen to his game. The Broncos then go Will Campbell. This is a very likely option for the Broncos because when you do look at the offensive line that they do have, Garrett Bowles complained about losing. This does not seem like the year that would be very, very helpful for getting getting Bowles back on track. So I do think they could end up having a vacancy at left tackle there. Pick #3, the Patriots go Luther Burden. He'd be interesting because he'd bring an explosiveness to the slot, but I love Pop Douglas, so I'm not really the hugest fan of going Luther Burden this early, but some people even comp him to Jamar Chase. Definitely am not there, but I have him comped to Deontay Johnson, which I think would be a little bit more of a fairer comp. The Tennessee Titans then go Carson Beck. I don't think there's a talent jump from Beck and Levis. Like, I think Levis is a superior talent. If the Titans are at 4, I just continue investing in the offensive line or invest in that corner core even more because I just saw a mock draft with Will Johnson and imagine like arguably the 2 best corners in the NFL on the same team. Like, that'd be ridiculous. At pick 5, we got the Commanders going Will Johnson, pairing him back up with their superstar and Mike Sainristil in their second rounder. That'd be really fun to see those two back together. Commanders do need a cornerback pretty damn desperately. To me, this is the pick to go for. Even if you are in the bottom 5, it's offensive tackle or it's Will Johnson. So I'm a big fan of that one. At pick 6, the Cardinals go Bryce Underwood, a high school quarterback. I mean, I'm looking at this the first time just as you are. I mean, if the Cardinals are at 6, I don't think it's going to be because of Kyler Murray. I think it's maybe because the offensive line gave up some pressure. So I'd probably say Emory Jones would be my move here. But hey, interesting. I'm just going to scroll back by slowly just so you guys can end up checking that out. Essentially, they're saying release Kyler Murray, save some cash. I don't think they're going to be too cap strong. Pick 7, the Giants go Travis Hunter. I do think their corner core needs a true boundary corner, and Travis Hunter could certainly be that. I will say they should probably still go after a quarterback, though. If we're going to use that same logic, they can get rid of Daniel Jones, most likely. Then at pick 8, the Vegas Raiders go Shedeur Sanders. It seems like everybody's going to be doing that. Like, it's the thing to do. I've gone ad nauseum about Shedeur Sanders, but bottom line, he's a top 50 player, or maybe top 75 for me. Doesn't have a very lively arm. He's not a super great athlete, but he does throw with more anticipation than anybody else. He has the best processor of the class, and that might matter more to some people. And the thing is he going to be able to make up for it like the Tom Brady's did? Not many have. That's why Tom Brady is of a small crew. But at 9, the Vikings go Mason Graham. Love the idea of keeping him there in the north, but the defensive interior for the Vikings is pretty butt cheeks. I think that Mason Graham certainly could end up really elevating them. He's a great block shedder. At pick 10, we got the Saints going another high school quarterback. It seems like everybody's on board with, the Saints going after a quarterback. I'd go after Spencer Rattler, try him out for a year, and then, try to invest in the offensive line as Ryan Ramchik's knee turns into gush. Like, I think that's just the best thing you can do. So it's interesting. Again, feel free to read all of that. I haven't even heard anything about this. I saw Brett Coleman's tweets about the Elite 11 as well, and these names are not ringing bells. But the Buccaneers go Ben Morrison. If they're at 11, I surely believe that Zion McCollum did not step up to the plate. Ben Morrison would be the correct move. Seattle Seahawks then go Dayon Walker. That'd be the most ridiculous defensive interior probably of all time. That's just unbelievable talent everywhere. I think Dalen Walker could really benefit if he's out in the squad, but I feel like that's just putting too many eggs in one basket, and you don't really need to because it's already very, very effective. I think the return on investment would not be worth it for either parties there. At pick 13, the Colts go Devin Sanchez, corner out of North Shore. Very intriguing. Again, the more I'm doing this, the less I'm liking this series because it's like I love to give you guys at least my input, but the Colts do need a boundary corner. I don't know why it would be a sin to go after the corners in college right now. He's 170 pounds. My brother in Christ. Like, why are we putting him in the first round? That's certainly interesting, but it is what it is. The Pittsburgh Steelers then go Jalen Milroe. You know, it will fit with the exact offensive style that we'll be running this year. I don't think that Jalen Milroe is out of the question for the Steelers if he's there in like the second round next year. At pick 15, the Jaguars go Kelvin Banks with Cam Robinson coming up on a contract, and I believe Walker Little as well. If he's there at 15, I don't think it's out of the question. It wouldn't be a bad move. Investing in the offensive line is never a bad idea. The Cleveland Browns then go after a high school tackle in David Sanders. You know, the Browns certainly do need to start looking towards the future. I think Jack Conklin's going to be coming up on a contract soon, Jedrick Wills. He'll be coming up on a contract soon. And, you know, I think I'd prefer to keep Wills, but, you know, I don't think you need to. If this guy is really that talented, then great. I don't think tackle is out of the question. I'll put it that way. Chargers, of course, go with the standard Colston Loveland pick. I've talked about it so many times. It's cool. The Chargers need more receiving weapons, so it works. Bears then go Mikael Williams. I like Mikael. He has a lot of room to grow. He needs to develop a lot more, but he's a freak athlete at 265, and to a lot of teams, that matters a lot. The Rams then go after a quarterback from high school. I think that there's some adequate enough quarterbacks still on the board for normal college, but you know, it is what it is. But I do think the Rams should be looking at their quarterback at the future. Like, Stafford's not getting any younger. They haven't really done a good job at creating a contingency plan. Falcons then get another edge rusher in Abdul Carter. I think that Braylon Trice and, if I'm going to be honest, Arnold Ebiketie clear Abdul Carter, but that's just me. So I'd prefer to go elsewhere with this pick, probably even a corner 2. Then we got the Dolphins going Malachi Starks. Fantastic move. Of course, he's falling because of all these high school players, but a true safety 2 would be incredible. Him and Javon Holland would be awesome duo. The Jets then go after Jackson Dart. I don't like Jackson's arm. He has some flashes, but I just sometimes think the arm is just not good enough to get there for a first-round quarterback. I'm not there with Jackson, but happy to be proven wrong. On the guys who I'm not like excited about, I'd be much happier to watch a good football player that I'm wrong about than be able to be right about a player who gets way overdrafted. Then at pick 23, the Packers go to Tacario Davis at 6'4", 195 with great zone ability. He could even be a safety, so I do like the flexibility you have there. But I think his skills in pure zone and your new DC is a little bit more of a press man guy. So I'd prefer to maybe even go after his former teammate in Ephesians Prysock. Then you got the Eagles going Harold Perkins. They don't even care about linebacker as it is, so I doubt they do this. But it'd be cool to also have that edge rusher upside. It just, you'd start getting a little bit thin at edge rusher there with Nolan Smith and Harold Perkins at sub 240. And I mean, sub 230 technically for Harold Perkins as well. You got the Dallas Cowboys going Emeka Egbuka. There is the potential chance the Cowboys could lose out on CeeDee Lamb. I doubt it. They're going to pay him. But Dallas Cowboys are losing more of their shine in terms of the receiving core. I do think Emeka Egbuka would not be a bad option if he can return back to 2022 form. Then we got the Texans going T-Mac, Tetairoa McMillan. If you don't keep Nico Collins, then that's something that is on the board. But I think he's a little bit too role specific in the NFL for me to take him in the first. Then we have the Bengals going Tyler Booker. He's a top 5 or top 6 player for me. He is my number 5 player. So he's a top 5 player. And I think he's fantastic. Super high floor player. You can't really go wrong with him. And the Bengals, of course, as a Steelers fan, I hate it. But as a fan of a mock draft, I love it. The Lions then go Nick Scourton. Not like they need to, but I think that's a fantastic option with Marcus Davenport on a 1-year deal. So good for y'all. Obviously, he's my number 3 player in the class. So it kind of makes sense. Then we got the Bills going wide receiver from high school. I ended up seeing some Keon Coleman tape today while I was watching some of the corners of the upcoming class, and very underrated, but I still think they can go after a number 2 receiver. Let's look at, he's over 6'3". That's cool. So, oh, the hell? He's 5'11", 182. I mean, why? They already got a bunch of slot weapons. I don't agree with that one. Then we got Torrey Horton. So finally got some All-22 coming out for Torrey Horton. Super excited to watch that. He was one of the guys who I wanted to watch in the first place, but I think this guy could be a big riser on my board. So I'm hoping to God that I'm right, because I hate being let down. At 31, the Niners go Jonas Avanyea. I've seen some places list him as a potential center, but investing in the right tackle spot is a great idea. He's very raw, but it's not like you get much of a downgrade from Colton McKivitz. And lastly, the Chiefs go Emory Jones, the better right tackle. I love him to death. I think he could even kick into guard if you want to keep Creed Humphrey and get rid of Trey Smith in this offseason. So, hey, we're ending on a positive note. It's very rare that the Chiefs get a really good player, but it was an interesting idea. I probably won't be doing another one of these if I end up seeing one, just because I didn't really like the high school part. I can give you your analysis on the guys I know and not the guys I don't, but it was still cool to test it out. Thank you so much for watching. Love y'all. See you on the far side. Peace.